go, let's 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 go. The enemy.
Because we have been deceived. We have been told we are in a democracy where everybody is equal. The truth and the reality is that we are in a system of racism, white supremacy.
Avoid racial shadowboxing. When victims of racism, non-white people, that's who we are directly or indirectly assigned, bribed, coerced, or otherwise influenced by the white supremacists to speak and or act to do harm to other victims, such speech or action can be described as, quote, racial shadowboxing.
The American people don't know what's going on in this country. The country is going to hell. It ain't black people sending it there. We are the victims of what is going on.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Read the Tavistock Institute. Every lecture I show this book. These are written by white boys long before us. This was going on. They came to America as operatives coming among us. Remember back in the day, this book talks about the nefarious niggerization of hip-hop, the first millennium edition of the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. It talked about how these young white boys started establishing all these record companies, these subsidiaries, because their parents owned the majors. They got distribution, so they could sign the brothers to these subsidiary labels. Are you following me? They were the ones that said that they were going to make you calling yourself a nigga very popular.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the Enemy's Public, and I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everyone is enjoying their Friday evening. This evening's subject is, if you don't condemn it, you condone it. The warmongers, weapons of mass distraction, weapons of mass destruction, deception, murder, and mayhem. If we don't condemn it, we condone it. Human suffering is on the back burner, and this world's society. Some of our sentiments are our people. If we're not the victim, there is no victim. While we know it emphatically as the world's mass murder of Palestinians committed by arch deceivers calling themselves victims, while committing war crimes, genocide, and major atrocities. Their excuse is the attempt to prevent terrorism, while Israel's entire reign is terrorism under the so-called leadership of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Evil man. What's ironic is warmongers get to determine who the bad guys are. Evil people get to determine what is good and what is bad, when we can't even determine what makes them good while they call others bad. What gives them credibility is the question. Is it how big their army is? How many weapons of mass destruction they have? Is it how many people that they can get to believe their propaganda? Because if journalists are being unalived for merely doing their jobs, just to enable the aggressors to control the narrative through their own propaganda machine, who will report anything objectively? Who will give the world the truth? Certainly not mainstream news media in America. Definitely not Israel. So how do we get the truth? Are we so ignorant to think that a man who don't treat us right will teach us right? Or will they give us the truth or anything to set us free, starting with our minds? The answer to that question is hell no. The entire world, especially people in America, including Jewish people, are tired of Israel and its tyranny, its terror, because some of them truly want peace. You know what made me know that the United States and other nations would do nothing about the genocides and crimes against humanity? 1989. Tiananmen Square, their protests and the massacre in Tiananmen Square. Where on June 4th, 1989, students were protesting in China, Tiananmen Square in Beijing, China. Protests lasted from April 15th, 1989 to June 4th, 1989. Students were protesting the Chinese government. The Chinese military were deployed on its own people. The army used tanks and live ammunition to force their way into the square to suppress the movement. Hundreds, possibly thousands of unarmed student protesters and civilians were killed in the ensuing violence, with tens of thousands arrested across the country. The protests began initially to mourn the death of a liberal Communist Party leader, Hu Yaobang, but quickly expanded into broader demands for greater political freedoms and the end to government corruption and tyranny, basically the same fight that we have here in the United States. On the night of June 3rd and 4th of 1989, the People's Liberation Army was ordered to clear the square with force. Soldiers opened fire on unarmed students and workers attempting to block their advance with tanks and soldiers. The students and workers also ran over by the tanks. The government declared war on its civilians. This looks very familiar to me. I hear some of our people saying that tanks in our communities are not about us. Just because you turn a blind eye to something, it only means that you're not going to see it coming. For one of us to say that tanks in our community is not about us is ignorance. Why they're in our communities and not in somebody else's community, it's not about us. It is also done to undermine the government of that particular city, because as a matter of fact, not most, all of the places where these U.S. National Guards are deployed at, or where our people are, or where our people are governed. Governors and mayors of our cities undermining us, deeming us as a people, as leaders, incompetent. I know what this man is doing, and I'm not going to turn a blind eye to it. Now, if it's not about us, what is it about? Is it about immigrants? Well, according to Donald Trump's own statistics, ICE is doing a very good job of rounding up any immigrant that they encounter, illegal and legal, putting them in detention facilities. The military in our community is not about immigrants. It's about us. If history best rewards us in our research, we'll understand that it's about us. This is undebatable. I don't give a damn what a Negro say. You trust that politician, that bloodsucker of the poor. I'll never trust him. All of my eyes are open. I can do more than one thing at the same time. I can delineate from people without being celebratory about their misfortunes. Yet some of our people are just hateful. You cannot expect someone who hates themselves to love anyone. A self-hating person loves no one, themselves, their people, or anyone else. They'll even monetize their self-hate. Yet the United States never condemned what happened in Tiananmen Square to this day. They never considered what happened a genocide. Why wouldn't we wonder why they don't consider what happened in Tiananmen Square a genocide? Truth is, if you don't condemn it, you condone it, especially with the moral credibility that the United States government has, or the lack of thereof. They wouldn't condemn it. They couldn't condemn it, not with the atrocities that America is known for, not with the crimes against humanity that the United States are guilty of, but known for. That this government haven't paid our people to this moment. If anyone in this country or in this world should have a law that protects someone as a people, and make them a protected group of people, it should be the so-called black man and woman in America, based on crimes against humanity. No one were treated worse than our people. Mentally, physically, and spiritually, having our entire being stolen from us. Our being was stolen from us. Peace to my brother Straight Smoke. Salute to you, brother. Thanks for tapping in. Malcolm X said it best. Democracy is hypocrisy. America would say she helped other nations to establish democracy all over the world, but they are establishing hypocrisy all over the world while denying the people of America of democracy to the republic for which it stands, one bureaucracy under evil, no liberty and justice for no one. Can you imagine a nation boasting about having the best jurisprudence in the world, and one of our people are listening to the lawmakers? They actually say that we have the best jurisprudence in the world. With the miscarriage of justice, our people and other people receive, but they'll say their jurisprudence is the best jurisprudence in the world. Under that jurisprudence, democracy is hypocrisy. This world is full of hypocrites talking about fighting terrorism while being the major perpetrators of terrorism, especially the United States and Israel. Not in no shape, form, or fashion am I talking about the people. The people are the victims of the governments in the United States and in Israel. The people who run the establishments are the problem. Always have been the problems and always will be the problems. The actual people are the pawns in their sick game, in their demented game. Some unknowingly, some knowingly, and even some willingly to be the pawns. Now, the United States, they're slick. At least they think they are. Donald Trump's administration in particular. Now, the United States government, the United States want to go after Venezuela in this so-called war on drugs. They're going after Venezuela in the so-called war on drugs. Dropped the bomb, they found the boat, ship, whatever you call it. I think it was a little boat with a few people on it, killing everybody aboard. And they're saying that they're going after drug cartels. And they really need to change their playbook because it's old and predictable. Especially when the United States military has been used as economic hitmen for as long as the military existed. The United States don't care about drugs or drug use. They never did. The entire population of the United States mostly are strung out on some type of drug. If it's not in a pill or a capsule, it's in the damn foods. We all know why the United States are targeting that country, Venezuela. We all know. All you gotta do is think back a few years. It's about mostly regime change, and it's also about crude oil. I'm not psychic. I just have a clear mind and a pretty good memory. They want that oil from Venezuela. That's what they want. It's not about no drugs. Again, as I stated before, the United States would do the dirt with you to get the dirt on you. Because they are the power structure. And when they do the dirt with is punished, and they go unpunished. Now, can you imagine calling a case against a sex trafficker a hoax? Can you imagine that? Donald Trump called a sex case where we have victims in his face standing together. He called the Epstein files a hoax. with victims standing together in public sharing their horrific stories, and it was going ignored and unheard by the cesspool executive officers of America. This is because if the president is being in charge of federal agencies like the FBI, like the Department of Justice, like any of these federal agencies, that's an overreach of his authority and also unconstitutional. It's a miscarriage of justice, also outright tyranny. But it seems to me that's what some of our people want. Some of our people want tyranny. Apparently, at least those who don't have a problem with what Trump is doing. Some of our people don't have a problem with what he's doing. Because the United States has no moral credibility. The pain, suffering, murder, mayhem, genocide, crimes against humanity that take place in Gaza is brought to you by their sponsor. Their sponsors, Israel's sponsors, is the United States. That's why the United States won't intervene. They are the sponsors. They don't condemn it because they condone it. We see the United States National Guard. They're in our communities, in our inner cities. While we were first referred to by Donald Trump as born criminals, born to do crime, born to do all type of heinous things. He said that about us. Hillary Clinton said years ago that we were super predators. All he did was put that on. When they say thug, they don't want to say nigga, so they call you a thug. Some of our people turn a blind eye to it. I was a young man when Hillary Clinton made that statement, super predator. I was in my 20s when she made that statement over 30 years ago. And I was displaying none of that behavior that she described. Meanwhile, her husband, on the other hand, Bill Clinton, while she was saying that we were super predators, her husband, if you know, you know. The audacity, the hypocrisy. It's just hypocrisy that they want to try to tell us that we're predators, we're super predators, or call us any damn thing. Besides our names. Now, I want to put the link in the chat because I would love for my brother's Facebook to come up. I'll turn this off. I have some videos that support my claims. I always have videos to support my claims. Let me put this in the chat first. And I want to share my screen. We're going to talk about everything that I mentioned. We're going to talk about it. Now, during Donald Trump's first term, he asked this defense secretary
He called Mike Pence an effing loser.
He didn't call him caught my attention, and I thought that we're at a different spot now. He's going to finally give a direct order to deploy DC, and I'm thinking with weapons and bayonets. And this would be horrible.
What's specific to these protesters?
He says, can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. And he's suggesting that that's what we should do, that we should bring in the troops and shoot the protesters.
The commander-in-chief was suggesting that the U.S. military shoot protesters.
That's right. Shocking.
We have seen in other countries a government use their military.
Tiananmen Square did it. In Beijing, they did it. They opened fire on protesters, on students that were protesting the government. They even ran them over with tanks. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that he was deploying some National Guards. Hold on, let me let my brother up. Salute, my brother. How you doing? Straight smoke. Salute, brother.
To shoot protesters. Right. What kind of governments are those?
Well, those are banana republics, right? Or authoritarian regimes. We all remember Tiananmen Square, right, in China.
Exactly.
No one knows how many people have died in the crackdown. We may never.
Because that was, I remember back in 1989 and 1990, soldiering hard in the Nation of Islam, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us that they will put tanks and the National Guard and the military in our communities. That's why he was constantly telling brothers that we should get our act together, because they're gonna put the National Guard in our communities to do harm to us. But damn if they're not.
No. Our own CBS News. They were civilians who went into the street unarmed to challenge the military and were mowed down by machine gun fire or run over by tanks. But amazingly, people were still defying the army today.